Good morning. This is Sarah Honeydew for JNS Biblical Productions, January 1st, 1995. Jesus in his parable of the leaven explains how teaching spread or infused through society like yeast does through bread to make it rise. In Matthew 16:11, he says to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Bad yeast will also infuse and infect a society in an evil way. Here to explain Apartheid as a leaven in South Africa is the newly elected president, Mr. Nelson Mandela. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Mandela, let's go back to 1948 when the Afrikaner National Party won the election. Did you realize what was going to happen at that time?
Probably not. But I had a bad feeling when the government of Peter Botha passed the Registration Act of 1950 and the pass laws. It's like what you had in early America during the 1790s. I believe you call it gerrymandering, when you divide your political enemy into many political factions. So it spreads them around so they have little or no political power. Here in South Africa, the white government split the Bantu tribe into 10 separate Bantus and spreading them all around so they'd have no political power, telling us we were free to govern ourselves.
I see. So something definitely seems afoot. What were the pass laws?
They were laws requiring non-whites to carry documentations or authorizing their presence in restricted areas. Some people call it the passbooks. You had to be able to present this at any time.
Wow, that's bad. We call it the Jim Crow laws in the U.S. in the 19th and 20th century. This looks like some sort of master plan, though.
Yes, the government established separate public facilities for whites and non-whites and posted threatening signs accordingly. Yes, this is apartheid, which means separateness. Here, we came out with the African National Congress, but the white minority government had an evil underlying purpose that was infused into their culture and had a police state to back them up. So our cries of "we all bleed the same color" was met with tear gas, bullets, and batons.
That is awful. But the international community noticed this eventually, right?
Yes. The UN couldn't help but see the evil leaven of the Afrikaner government, and the Security Council of 1976 passed an embargo on arms sales to South Africa and squeezed their government into a recession.
Yes, and then you went to prison for your leadership?
Yes, for 27 years. But you can't suppress the black African spirit. The political state was doomed. The all-white minority government was alone in the world. No friends. Look at what happened in Soweto. The high school student uprising on June 16, 1976, about being forced to speak Afrikaans, the language of the oppressor, was put down with guns, dogs, tear gas, and police batons. Here was a government squashing its own people and children who had an obligation to protect. Now, I would like to show you some basic facts. In a population, blacks consisting of 19 million, whites 4.5 million. Land allocation, blacks 13%, whites 87%. Share of national income, blacks 20%, whites 75%. Minimum taxable income, blacks 360 rands, whites 750 rands. Overall total, blacks 5,303,497, whites 964,027. Do you see the unequalness?
That is quite a drastic difference.
Yes.
But somehow they seemed to have crumbled.
Under pressure, the National Party government instituted some reforms, but it was too little and too late. They repealed the Population Registration Act, and in February 1990, I was released from prison. But they also finally saw that you can't govern your own people by police batons and tear gas. And the government enfranchising all the people, blacks and other minorities, was necessary. The election last April in 1994 proved that peace, not war, is the answer. This is most important. I hope future generations of governments around the world will relearn something from this.
I really hope so too. Yes, a good lesson for the world. So now what?
A government elected by the people is just a start. I would infuse a different type of a leaven, as you call it, healthy interaction between races, which we haven't had since 1947. Like our football games, I believe you call soccer. This will encourage unity of the races.
Mr. Mandela, you are a genius.
Thank you. But most of what I said was obvious to see. I'd like to say that a good leader has to have the pulse of the people he is governing. Not like the Klerk government, Afrikaner party, or the Pharisees of all times. One should infuse love thy neighbor as leaven into the culture of the community.
I fully agree. Now we have an end to the leaven of apartheid.
Yes.
Thanks to you. This is Sarah Honeydew for Janus Biblical Productions saying good morning.